From making big upgrades to her personal assets to breaking hearts on her OnlyFans. This is how Paige VanZant had surgery because she always wanted boobs, but they never came. Plus, fans react as 28-year-old Paige VanZant shares another broken bone post. Let's face it, we've all wanted something and never gotten it. But Paige VanZant isn't gonna let that stop her. So let's start off by talking about how Paige VanZant got breast surgery. Paige isn't one of the lucky ones because she's always wanted a fuller bust. But even as she grew into being a woman, it never showed up. So it goes without saying, she hasn't always had the puppies that she has on display right now. As a matter of fact, she used to be nearly as flat as a pancake up there. Paige wasn't a fan of her own body, so she decided to do something about it. Fans of the UFC realized almost immediately when she stepped into the public eye with her brand new set of pillows she was sporting. So VanZant came clean and wasn't apologetic about it. She says, "Yup, I did get a boob job. I'm a girl and always wanted my own boobs. They never came, so I bought them." The reactions from her fellow fighters were actually quite positive. UFC star Michael Bisping came right out and said, "Good for her. Well done. Why the hell not?" The more mindful fans questioned whether or not the change would be healthy for her, and VanZant was quick to correct them, saying they were completely safe. You would think a new set of weights hanging off your chest might impact a fighting career, but Paige is adamant that it hasn't had any negative effects whatsoever. Speaking of negative effects on her body, there's something that has hampered her career several times. Yep. We're talking about Paige VanZant's broken bones. Did you know she broke her arm not once, not twice, but 3 times? Yep, true story. She broke her arm so bad, she had to have a rod and screws put in it. She shared photos online, and man, they are gruesome. The photos were so alarming that fans were upset she didn't flag them for offensive or not suited for work content. Then she broke the same arm 2 more times. The fractures were apparently minor according to her Instagram post. But one has to really question whether or not what she's saying is true, if the same arm's getting broken over and over again. Paige isn't giving up though. She says, "You know that Japanese proverb, fall 7 times, stand up 8. Well, my story is break your arm 3 times, keep fighting 4. Her mom seems awfully worried about how many bones she's breaking though, as VanZant cheerfully waves it off in Instagram videos. She says, "Your mom's worried about you drinking. Mine's worried about what I'm going to break next." Well, her mom's worries are perfectly reasonable, because Paige did break something shortly after. Let's talk about her next 3 fractures. Yeah, you heard me right. After breaking her arm 3 times, Paige VanZant then broke her foot in 3 different places. At the time she did this, she was juggling 2 different careers in the world of fighting. One was competing in the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, and the other was with All Elite Wrestling, aka the AEW. The AEW is a lesser-known but quickly growing pro wrestling promotion that closely resembles the WWE. She's actually incredibly popular in the squared circle, even though she's only had 1 fight. Apparently VanZant knows what she's worth, and she says the AEW had to pay her the pay-per-view dollars to show up. But the AEW president is willing to pay up, because he's still very much interested if she ever decides to return to the career of pro wrestling. While she may be able to return to the AEW, the stunt she pulled put a huge question mark on her future in the octagon. But she wasn't exactly having a great start to her bare knuckle FC career anyway. Paige lost 3 of her last 4 fights, one being to Amanda Ribas. After only 2 fights in the BKFC, she was still without a single victory in the octagon. VanZant was ready to return to try and get her first win when, you guessed it, she broke her foot. This time though, it wasn't due to fighting. Paige was goofing around, jumping in the snow off of some stairs, wearing nothing but a bathing suit, when she slipped and her foot bent in all the wrong places. According to VanZant's own Instagram post, she fractured her pinky toe. What a dumb way to put a hold on her career, yet again. I have no idea how Paige has bones made of pocket lint and plastic straws, but fans did start to notice. They even threw her some lighthearted jabs. Maybe more milk instead of alcohol. And what happened here? You were jumping around naked and broke your foot? Must have been fun to explain to the doctor. Paige VanZant seems so chill about it though. She doesn't seem to be broken up about it at all, that's for sure. She even posted an Instagram video where she zooms in on the x-ray in the doctor's office, playing a cover by The Weeknd titled I Don't Wanna Know, and dancing, with her upper body of course. When it comes to being nonchalant about her bone injuries, there might be a better reason she isn't too broken up about her fighting career. She has an OnlyFans! I'm somehow both surprised and not surprised at the same time. What I'm a little surprised about though is that she made her content free for a 3-day weekend. Talk about a great deal. Fans chimed in and some of the comments are hilarious. One of her fans wrote, "Thankful for another day and for seeing your beautiful face." Yeah, buddy. I'm sure that's what you're looking at on her OnlyFans page. Her face. He did renew his subscription though. The fan added, "Join. And what I saw was amazing. Renew is activated." Paige is already raking in that sweet dough she was missing out on in her fighting career. And speaking of making money without bearing it all, she probably doesn't even need OnlyFans. Let's talk about the massive 2.7 million followers on her Instagram account. Paige has never made it a secret that she makes bank on her Insta. But did you know that she's made more cash on the social media website than in her entire fight career? Yup. VanZant came out on Twitter and shared all the deets, saying, "I make way more money sitting at home posting pictures on Instagram than I do fighting." And according to Paige, her social media earnings greatly outpaced what she got from the UFC. This doesn't come off too surprising. UFC fighters being underpaid has been a headline for some time, since Jake Paul brought it to light in 2021, and her bone fractures putting her fighting career on hold.
I make way more money sitting at home
Really?
posting pictures on Instagram than I do fighting.
Really?
With endorsement deals and
Wow.
everything I pull in from social media, I mean, I would actually be at a loss just taking a fight and focusing.
Wow.
If I were to stop everything I do outside of fighting and just fight, I would be at a loss.
Really?
Financially. Okay, but why are you comparing me to just
Yeah.
women?
Yeah.
All of us should be getting paid more in general, and especially the women, and then especially based on your star power.
At least Paige has Instagram and OnlyFans to fall back on. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's how Paige VanZant had breast surgery, and how fans reacted to her breaking her bones again.